So, you want to be a singer? Now, before we get started, here's the brutal truth, because when all is said and done, there's usually more said than done. That's actually one of my favourite quotes. When all is said and done, there's usually more said than done. If I had £1 for everyone I've met in my life so far that said, I love singing, I'd love to take singing lessons, I'd love to be a singer, and then didn't do it, I would be stinking rich, because I've met thousands of people who all say that they'd love to sing, they'd love to be a singer, they'd love to take singing lessons, and they never do. But why is that? There are lots of reasons. Probably the main reason is that it looks really glamorous. Now, when it comes to actually going to rehearsals, getting people in a room to get to rehearsal in the first place, booking recording studios, getting the money together to book recording studios, recording the demo, rehearsing every week, going through the wind, rain, hail, snow, storms, getting stuck in the middle of the countryside because you can't get back after a gig. All of that, I've done all of that. I've done all of that many, many, many times over. Most people don't want to do that. And that's why most people won't do what it takes to really become a singer. Now, I've been singing since 1999. I've been teaching since 2003, and I sang for most of that time. I actually stopped performing. I started performing at the age of 8 as a dancer. I started performing in 1999 as a singer, and I stopped performing in 2017 just because I'd actually just had enough of the music industry, and I wanted to give back, and I wanted to focus full time on helping other people to develop their music and their singing careers. I was a music lecturer in colleges for 10 years. Before that, I'd worked in different areas. I have my own business as a voice coach. You can see some of what I do here on YouTube and on other platforms, and in my Singing Genius Club. So here are a couple of questions to ask yourself before you decide to become a singer. Number one, why singing? What is it about singing that draws you? Is it because you want to be famous? For some people, that's the reality. Is it because you feel that you've got so much music inside you and so much to say, and you would love to do that on a platform? Is it because you just love singing and you'd like to make that your life? That was my case. I just loved singing from the time I had my first singing lesson. My first husband actually bought me singing lessons as a Christmas present. To this day, I have no clue if he thought I was terrible and needed all the help I could get, or if he thought I had potential. Regardless, I had my first singing lesson in 1999, and I absolutely loved it from day one. And a couple of months later, I just decided that I wanted to become a singer, take it seriously, and make singing my life. And I have told this story in other videos, and I will tell it in future videos as well. I'll go into the longer story, the deep dive into how I got to be doing what I do. And over the years, I've done lots and lots of tours. I've done thousands of gigs. I don't know how many, thousands of gigs. I've played hundreds of festivals, and I've worked alongside on the lineup and in bands with and in sessions with some of my own favourite musicians. And I've also had some of my favourite musicians become fans of my music as well, which is really nice. So why is it? What is it about singing? And what is it that you want to do? Do you want to record? Do you want to go on tour? Do you want to play festivals? Do you want to play around the world? Are you happy to just do a few local gigs in local pubs and clubs? Do you want to play weddings and birthdays? Do you want to play big corporate gigs? Do you write your own music and you're planning world domination? Do you just want to be do you want to be a session singer? Do you want to be a session singer? So there are lots and lots of ways that you can make singing your life. But if you're serious about it, just like anything else, like if you want to become a lawyer or an accountant or a doctor or a nurse, you have to be serious. So that leads us to question number 2. How committed are you? Do you just want to do a couple of gigs every month? That's actually quite a lot. do you just want to go and sing at karaoke every week with your family and your mates down your local? That's absolutely fine too. If you want to make a career and make money from music, you have to be 100% in. You can't have a plan B. Otherwise, you're always going to fall back on the plan B, because getting paid as a musician at first is really, really tough. It's a tough gig. You have to know 100% that this is what you want to do. I had no plan B. I knew that once I had the bug, that was me. There was nothing else I could do. Before I was a singer, I was a dancer as a child. I had a few lost years when I wasn't quite sure of what I wanted to do. And when I came into singing, I started performing again in an amateur musical theatre, and I got the bug again. I was absolutely hooked. So that was 1999 when I restarted. So I've been doing this constantly now for 26 years. And as a child, I did it for probably about 10 or 11 years. So I was performing for 10 or 11 years, had some time off, and then continued for another now 26 years. Had some time, I'd stopped performing professionally, as in, constantly and for money, for getting paid for it, in 2017, and went back to it just a couple of years ago. So there have been some breaks in between, but I've always, even when I wasn't performing, I was teaching in my business, making YouTube videos, as you can see now, and working as a music lecturer, teaching other people, teaching younger people and some adults as well, how to sing, how to get involved in the music industry, and giving them some performance skills, and teaching them how to become a professional musician so that they can make a career out of it. And lots of those people are. Lots of those people aren't, because it's really tough. Now, being a singer isn't just about singing. It isn't just about standing in front of people and hitting the right notes at the right time and holding long notes and sounding powerful and adding vibrato and adding distortion. All of those things come within singing, but being a singer takes something different. It takes a lot of grit, and you've kind of got to be brutal about it. As I said, I had no plan B, and if you're really serious, you won't either. Now, what I've done in recent weeks is I went back to what it took for me to do all of the things that I've done in life, to play in lots and lots of countries. I performed in more than 30 countries. I've performed to audiences of tens of thousands, up to 30,000, and that's a buzz. And I'd love for other people to do that. And as I say, I have helped lots of people to do that, but I want to help some more of you do that as well. So in recent weeks, I've gone back to what it took for me to become really serious and be laser focused on making music my career. And it took over my whole life. I've tried to get away from it a few times in the last couple of years. It hasn't worked. I'm here, right? I'm stuck with it, and I love that, And so what I did is I broke down everything I did, and what I did consistently, and the habits that I formed that helped me to build the resilience to get through all of the ups and downs, the hundreds of auditions, the hundreds of rehearsals, the treks through the snow, all of this stuff. Now, there are going to be a couple of you that are going to pop up in my comments and say, well, one of my friends, or, my cousin's best friend, they didn't really want to be a singer, and they just happened to meet someone and they went on tour and they had a 25-year career. Yes, there are people like that. Yes, there are people who are very, very lucky, didn't know that that's what they wanted to do, and that ended up being what they fell into. That does happen for a couple of people, a very, very few small number of people, but for the most part, it takes persistence, commitment, grit, and determination. And of course, you do read in the media, you do see every now and then someone pops up, oh, I was just working in my local supermarket and someone came in and they happened to hear me singing at the till and then they signed me. I can tell you at 99.9999999999999 infinity% of a guarantee that isn't the story. What they're missing out is the 10 years of singing lessons they've had, the performing arts lessons they've had, the dance training they've had, the hundreds of auditions they went to that fell through, the dozens of near misses where they almost made it and didn't quite, and that's why they're now working in a supermarket and got discovered. I can guarantee you almost that is not what happened. If you were to go back into any of the TV talent shows, if you go back into their backstories, this was not an overnight success. These people have been working on this for years, even if it's a couple of years. I think that young guy, he was young at the time, Ray Quinn, I think he'd been singing for about 2 years. I may be wrong, but I think that's the case. That's still 2 years before he went and auditioned. So there is a lot of work that goes into the back of this, and there are a lot of sacrifices. There are going to be nights when you want to just stay home and sit under your duvet and drink hot chocolate or whatever your beverage of choice is, but you have to go traipsing through the wind and the rain to a rehearsal that when you get there, half of your band hasn't turned up. The rehearsal might not go very well. Someone walks off in a strop. Someone comes in drunk. All of these things have happened, right? I've witnessed and experienced all of these things. There are going to be times when you think to yourself, what is the point? And then a couple of weeks later, something amazing will happen and you'll remember, that's why I do this. Now, I don't want to put anyone off, and if you are serious, I did mention it earlier, my Singing Genius Club. To explain what Singing Genius Club is, this is where I put lots of, all of the tutorials, not all, the best tutorials from YouTube, and they're on there ad free. To explain what Singing Genius Club is, this is my online membership that you can become a member of, where you get the tutorials, singing tutorials without ads. You also get member exclusive tutorials that you won't see anywhere else, and you will also get masterclasses where you will see me coaching a singer live, and you'll see their progress live. And what that means is that, different to a tutorial, you can see the process of actually using the techniques, working on the techniques, building and developing your technique, and then putting that into a song. And then we also have live Q&As where I come on live and I answer your questions. So underneath my YouTube videos, there are people sometimes that ask very specific questions about how to use the techniques that I talk about in the videos. And unfortunately, I can't go and answer every person's question on specific techniques for a number of reasons. But if you come into the Q&A, if you come into Singing Genius Club and you come on the live Q&A, then we can get really specific and I can get a little bit more information from you about what it is that you need help with, rather than trying to answer in a generic way that's probably not going to help you. So if you're interested in becoming a Singing Genius member, all you need to do is go to the pinned comment or the description, click the link in there, and I will see you inside there. I really look forward to that. Now, as I say, I've been putting together for the last few weeks, or I did put together, and I've been doing an intensive boot camp. So this is a 12-week boot camp, and I'm testing it out on myself first because I'm actually going to be rolling it out to a few lucky singers. So if you feel like you're really, really serious about singing and you want some real deep mentorship with one-to-one singing lessons and some other work around, developing resilience, overcoming the blocks that hold singers back. If you've got some performance anxiety, and once you get going, lots of things are going to come up, and I'm going to help you on a personal level to get through those things. And this is going to be a 12-week intensive course, but this is only for very, very specific people. If you are interested right now, if you feel like that's something that you'd like to get involved with, send me an email at Carrie, Carrie, at secretvocalacademy.com. I will only be responding to emails about this, if you call it Get Brutal. So in the subject line, you're going to write Get Brutal. Send me an email and say, I'm interested. That's all you have to do. If you start asking me questions about singing lessons and such and such and such, my assistant Shola is going to direct you to book a consultation. But if you want to know about Get Brutal, send me an email. Subject line, Get Brutal. This is about the 12-week intensive. I will be rolling it out in a few weeks' time. I'm testing it out now. And I'm looking for people who are really, really serious about transforming your life and becoming a professional singer. And there's lots involved. So I hope that this hasn't put you off. I hope that this does inspire you, because you can do so much. And being a singer isn't just about being the next Beyonce or Freddie Mercury or George Michael, or actually I was just actually in a room with one of George Michael's backing singers the other day, because she's a sister of one of the guitarists in my band, and we had a really good time watching another band and singing along together. It was a really lot of fun, and she's a lovely lady. I digress. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Stay hydrated. Ciao.